Hey, what's going on, guys? This is going to be my out-of-box review here for the HGUC Sinanju Stein narrative version, and I gotta say, this kit is pretty dang fantastic. Between this and the HGUC Moon Gundam, which also recently came out, very similar, I think, in that they're nicely detailed, they're both really big in terms of just their size, super nicely articulated, you have some really cool weapons and accessories with them, and overall just super highly recommended. I think probably the Moon Gundam is going to get a lot more love just because I think that it is probably by a lot of people's standards slightly better. But for me personally, between the two, I think they're both super fantastic. I would probably even choose the Stein over the Moon Gundam, to be honest. That's just my personal taste. Not quite as detailed as that one, but still super nice, and I'll show you guys later on a comparison to see them side by side because they're both quite large, as I said. But anyway, this kit is fantastic, really nice. If you guys are a fan of the Sinanju or just a fan of nice HGUC kits in general, definitely check out this kit. And so we'll go over all of that in the review, and as always, guys, a huge thank you to USA Gundam Store for making the review possible. Check the link to their site. Definitely check this kit out there. I know it's at the moment sold out, but wait for them to get some more in, and definitely pick up this kit. Use that coupon code there, ZakuAurelius 10, and it's all down there in the description. You can check that out and save yourself 10% on this and anything else there on their site. So let's go ahead and take a look at what else is included here with the kit. So first off, just want to point out where all the stickers are on the kit. Of course, you have one in there for the eyes, you have ones here for the sleeves markings, one on there on the chest, 1, 2 on the forearm. Up in the crotch there, that dark bit at the center, that is a sticker. And then around here on the fuel tanks, that little red line is 1, 2, 3, 4 stickers that go on each of the fuel tanks around there. And then aside from just these closed fists, which I've got there on the kit now, you do also have a set of holding hands. Now for all the hands you have one less of the armor piece for the back of the hand, so if you wanted to use certain ones, you might have to switch those around. Basically, you have 6 different hand options and only 5 of the covers. Then we do also have an open hand for the left side, or kind of a rifle support hand, and then a trigger finger hand for the right side, which I currently have on. It's a high beam rifle. Now this is basically just the Sinanju's beam rifle inside of there with some new pieces added onto that, so there's a couple new pieces there to make it into this really cool version of the Stein's rifle, different from just the regular kind of original Sinanju Stein, which we saw in the Masquerade Verkhoff form before. Then we do also have the grenade launcher, which again, like with the regular Sinanju, can just be attached up underneath there, and you can close that up to add a little bit more beef to the rifle like that. Alternatively, you can attach that here onto the back side of the shield. Looks like this here, and one more sticker there for the emblem there on the front of the shield, but again, very nice, slightly different from the design of the original Sinanju Stein's shield, and with their grenade launcher on there, looking pretty cool. This just attaches onto the back of the arm. No option to make this on the side of the arm, unfortunately, but I will give them points for making the back of the shield in a separate dark plastic colored piece there, for like a dark, to match the frame and joints and everything. Something that I would say as one of the very few flaws of the real grade Sazabi, they didn't have a separate like frame part for the back side of the shield for that kit, strangely enough. And then we have our 2 clear yellow beam saber effect parts. The beam saber handles are stored here in the back of the forearm, so you just pull that off. You can pull out the beam saber handle there and use that, so that's pretty cool as well. And then lastly, the bazooka and the optional short end for the bazooka, so that's just a matter of pulling that out, removing the top part, and then just having that like that, and then we can mount this onto the rifle as well. There you go, again, that just attaches up into there, and just close that up, and that is pretty awesome. Again, it's the same thing that you can do if you have the HGUC Neo Zeong, because the regular Sinanju HG kit did not come with a bazooka, but if you got the Neo Zeong, it did give you the bazooka parts, so you could do this with that kit, and now you can do it with this kit as well, so that is pretty cool. I'm wondering if you can put it on the back of the shield. No, it almost fits, and I think you could make it fit with just a very little bit of modification, but as you can see, the part inside of there is like rounded in there, and that is to fit around the barrel, the top of the barrel of the grenade launcher, whereas that doesn't fit on this. So as you can see, putting that on there, it sort of almost fits, and it kind of stays in place, but it's not going to be as tight as it really should be to get that onto there, but again, it really would only be just a matter of cutting out that bit there in the middle of the shield. One more quick thing regarding the connector: while it doesn't allow you to move the shield around to the side of the arm, it does have a little bit of rotation here. It rotates, but then there's actually 2 points of articulation, or 2 points of rotation. So you can move that pretty far out to one way or the other if you need to. And you do have some parts left over from the original Sinanju kit, including its beam axes, which are pretty awesome, but unfortunately you don't have the beams for those. But again, if you have the original kit or the HGUC Neo Zeong, then you have extra beam axe effect parts that you could use with this. And then you also have the original just camera for the top of the beam rifle if you just want to have the regular Sinanju's beam rifle. Then you also have this connection piece, which will allow you to plug in the beam rifle onto the back of the kit, which you could use, I believe, here on the back skirt. Okay, and then for a quick size comparison, here it is with the Moon Gundam as well as the RX-782, all in 1/144 scale, and you can see just how tiny the RX-782 looks compared to the Sinanju Stein. It's very, very big, and it's even bigger than the Moon Gundam there, as you can see. So it's a very big kit. Unfortunately, I don't have an HGUC Sinanju that I can show you guys because it's currently in my Neo Zeong, which is currently in the box at the moment, so I can't really show that to you at the moment. Sorry about that. But for anyone who might say, and unfortunately I have seen people saying this online, that this kit is just a rehash of the HGUC Sinanju, there's very little of that kit in the Sinanju Stein here. It's maybe 10% or less, 5% maybe of this kit is made up of parts from the old Sinanju, so very little basis for that complaint or criticism of this kit. So let's just quick run through the articulation of this guy, and starting with the head. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of articulation here in the head at all, just due to the shape of the design, this part there sticking out the back. You can't really move it back all that far, and can't really move it forward all that far either, just a little bit. You can of course rotate it side to side though, no problem there. That said, really nice detail all around on the head. It's really nicely detailed. And then the separate colors there for the Vulcans on the side of the head, as well as the hosing there up underneath the side of the head. The separate colors and everything on that all look really nice. No seam line on this at all either, except for on this part there on the back of the head, but again, that's pretty minimal. In the waist, you don't really have much of a stomach crunch except for just the main ball joint there in the center, but you can just pull that up off the ball a little bit. You can get a little bit of forward and back movement out of that, side to side a little bit as well. Basically just some rotation. The shoulders are very interestingly designed, is that they're meant to slide out away from the body a little bit like that, so that you can then bring them farther forward and back. So that's a pretty interesting gimmick and seems a bit weird when you're putting it together, but it does serve a pretty good purpose, I suppose. The shoulder armor itself will move up to only about to there, and this separate bit on the side of course can move on its own as well. But ultimately you can get the arm vertically all the way up to there, which is very, very nice. And it's just standard rotation there at the top of the arm, a double joint in the elbow, which is a little bit tight, but that will give you more than 90 degrees, not too much more and not a full bend, but a pretty good bend nonetheless. Wrist, of course, just on a ball joint. Around here to the backpack, and each side section is connected via a ball joint, but you can't really get it out very far. I wish you could spread them out to the sides a little bit more. It's actually a connector piece between this main section and the center section. There's a separate piece in between there that is attached onto a ball joint, but then it's attached onto this part via a peg, so you can rotate that up and down. You can kind of move this out a little bit more, so that's farther back away from the body like that. That whole part does seem a little weird and unnecessary, to be honest, but it is what it is. The fuel tanks are just on ball joints, so you can move those around a little bit if you need. The whole backpack itself is attached via a single peg like that, which is exactly how it was on the original Sinanju, but I think they really could have changed that for this design. Probably would have been for the best, just because a 2-peg connection is of course stronger. Down here to the front skirts, and of course they can be moved up and down separately. No details there up underneath, unfortunately. And then the side skirts as well can be moved up and down to really only about there before you're starting to hit the side of the midsection. That said, you can still get the legs almost out entirely to the side there. The side skirts, again, very nicely detailed with a little bit of color separation in there. Will move up and down, and some really nice detail up inside there. So up underneath the front skirts, it's nothing, but underneath the back skirt, you have some nice detail to paint in there. As you saw, the leg can move out to the side very well, but can move up to the front really nicely as well. So pretty high kick up to the front. Double joint in the knee with some really nice armor separation of this knee part of the armor. This bit here on the side of the leg can also rotate forward and back like so. At the ankles, you have a pretty nice bend side to side, so you should be able to get a pretty nice just standing stance out of that. And unfortunately there's no toe bend in this at all. That would have been nice, but you can get the foot all the way forward to there and back all the way back to there, which is very nice. Up underneath the feet as well, no hollow spaces, full detail there, again, very nice. And then one more real quick thing that I forgot to mention is just there's a little bit on the back of the leg that opens out with a little bit of a thruster bell inside there. It really only moves a little bit, but that is something there on the back of the leg as well. But anyway, the articulation of this kit, it's not going to be quite as amazing as the Moon Gundam. The Moon Gundam is very, very nicely articulated, as we've seen, as just a recent example to compare it to. It's not quite as nice as that, and so there are a few points of articulation that maybe could have been a little bit better, namely maybe in the waist, stomach crunch, a little bit more of that would have been nice, but overall, I mean, the kit is very, very nicely articulated. You really aren't going to have too much problems with that, and I think it's not quite as flashy as just, of course, the all-red, curvy, pointy design of the original Sinanju. This has such a tough and cool look to it. I think is sort of like just, I don't know, like the everyday man's badass, awesome version of the Sinanju, where the Sinanju looks so elegant and ornate in its design. The Sinanju Stein is just like, just straight up just tough looking and really cool. So it's a super cool design, and it's very coolly represented in this HGUC form, so I'm super happy with this. I still think, as you may have watched in the unboxing, as I hypothesized about the release of a just kind of unicorn version of the Sinanju Stein, which would be just kind of like the original Sinanju Stein, I still think that we will probably see that out as a kit at some point. Probably it's going to be a P Bandai release, I would imagine, but just the way that the runners were arranged, it did kind of seem like Bandai was at least leaving that possibility open to putting out a regular Sinanju Stein or a unicorn version Sinanju Stein. But let's talk about some negatives of the kits. Now, really, there pretty much aren't any when you just consider this as an HG, because yes, there are a few seam lines on the kits, as I noted, on the back of the head, also on the fuel tanks and on the weapons. Those are all to be pretty expected for an HG, but overall, the seam lines on this kit are pretty dang minimal. Stickers also pretty minimal. Again, considering what you got here, the biggest stickers are going to be just for the sleeves markings. Not really any way around that. Bandai did get around that with the release of the real grade Sinanju, where they made it separate pieces. Obviously, they're not going to do that in the case of an HGUC kit like this. It would be nice just because it makes them easier to paint, but if you don't want to use those stickers, a reverse wash on those is going to be relatively simple enough. You can do that even if you don't have an airbrush. Just spray paint those parts in white and then get some black enamel paint. You can just hand paint it even if you want. Just hand paint some black enamel paint over the top of that. Get some Q-tips and some lighter fluid and just clean that up, and there you go. You can do it even without an airbrush. Very easy peasy. So even for the normal negative aspects that we typically associate with HG kits, it's really not bad at all. And as you've seen so far, the articulation is really nice. You have a really nice array of weapons. Overall details, the kit is pretty nicely detailed. HGs, there's a lot of mix in them. Some of them are a little bit more detailed than others. This one is definitely pretty nicely detailed. There are plenty of spaces for you to go in and add more detail if you want, if that's the kind of thing that you're into. But there is definitely a lot there to work with. So just some panel lining on this will definitely bring out a lot of those details as well. And really, maybe the only other things that I could say as negatives for the kit would be just that some people might find the color scheme a little bit boring, or they might prefer the original color scheme, which was more white, where this one has a little bit more like very light gray, slightly blue tint to it. So some people may not like the color, but that's always, I mean, you could say that about any kit, so that's not really a negative per se, but it's just something to point out why this kit may not be personally attractive to every single person. But then there's also the price. It's 2,600 yen, which is pretty pricey for an HG kit. The Moon Gundam was 3,000 yen, and that came with a stand, so basically it's kind of works out to be about the same price minus the stand as the Moon Gundam. But as you saw, it's slightly bigger, and so it's probably a similar amount of plastic in there. So overall, I mean, 2,600 yen is a lot, but as you guys saw, it's a very large kit, very nicely detailed. The color separation is also quite nice on this kit as well. So I think that price is definitely worth it. Could it maybe have been slightly less, 2,400 yen? Maybe, but I mean, that's just that's a very slight amount that you're getting into at that point. It's just not really even worth pointing that out. But that is it for this kit, guys. What do you think? I think the pros of this kit very far outweigh the cons. So if you were on the fence about getting this kit, I would say definitely check it out. If you were not really particularly interested in this kit, then I would still also recommend you guys, if you get the chance, you know, check this kit out. Hopefully this review has maybe changed your mind a little bit. Obviously I'm not going to change everyone's mind into thinking that they have to buy this kit, because it's just all about personal opinion. But if you're looking for a nice solid HG kit and a pretty big one with some really cool and interesting weapons and accessories for it, then I think you'll be pretty happy with this kit. So that is going to do it for my review, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave any other further questions and comments you might have there down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Hey! Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you want to check the kit out for yourself, you can head over to USA Gundam Store. Use that coupon code ZakuAurelius10. Save yourself 10%. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.